Abraham Lincoln, A Journey of Resilience. Abraham Lincoln was born in a humble, one-room log cabin in Kentucky, where life was a constant struggle. By the age of 9, he faced unimaginable grief when his mother passed away. Just a few years later, at 14, Lincoln worked tirelessly to support his family, putting aside any dreams of formal schooling. At 23, he tried to start his first business, a small general store in New Salem, Illinois. But it failed, leaving him buried in debt that took years to repay. Then, at 26, heartbreak struck again when his first love died from typhoid fever. Lincoln endured these trials while facing defeat in 8 elections. Yet, he refused to give up. At the age of 56, his perseverance and hard work were rewarded when he became the 16th President of the United States in 1860. His journey from humble beginnings to one of the most revered figures in history is a testament to his unbreakable spirit. Lincoln himself once said, "I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have." Growing up in poverty, Abraham Lincoln's childhood was marked by hardship, but it also laid the foundation for his incredible resilience. Born on February 12, 1809, in a small log cabin in Kentucky, he grew up in poverty. His father, Thomas Lincoln, was a hard-working farmer. But Abraham dreamed of a different life, creating tension between him and his father. At the age of 7, Lincoln's family moved to the Indiana frontier, where life was equally harsh. Tragically, his mother, Nancy Hanks Lincoln, passed away when he was just 9 years old. Young Abraham had to step up, working long hours to help his family survive. Self-education and early career. Despite his circumstances, Lincoln had an insatiable thirst for knowledge. He barely attended formal school, but he taught himself by reading every book he could find. Often, he would walk miles just to borrow a book. His favorites were the Bible, Aesop's fables, and Shakespeare. These stories shaped his values and inspired his sense of justice. Driven by a love for learning, Lincoln eventually taught himself the law, passed the bar exam, and became a lawyer. But his road to success was far from smooth. His first business venture at 23 ended in failure, leaving him bankrupt. Yet he saw every failure as a stepping stone, using the lessons he learned to move forward. Abraham Lincoln, Lessons from Failure and Triumph. Abraham Lincoln's life was shaped by hardship and resilience. When his store in New Salem failed, it was a devastating setback. Despite his hard work, the business didn't make enough money to survive. The store's closure left Lincoln buried in debt, a burden that would take years to repay. But instead of giving up, Lincoln saw the failure as a lesson. It taught him resilience, perseverance, and the value of learning from mistakes. This determination drove him to teach himself law, a path that came with its own challenges. Through sheer effort and self-discipline, Lincoln passed the bar exam in 1839 and opened his own law office in Springfield, Illinois. Over the next 25 years, he built a successful legal career, handling cases about money disputes, property fights, small crimes, and even railroads. One of his most notable victories came in 1852 when he defended a young man accused of murder. Lincoln's careful preparation and love for learning set him apart. His ability to adapt and grow from each experience became the foundation for his future success. His story reminds us that setbacks are often the stepping stones to greatness. Emotional struggles that shaped a leader. Lincoln's life was marked by deep sadness and emotional battles. In 1835, he lost his first love, Anne Rutledge, to typhoid fever. The grief was overwhelming, plunging him into a deep depression. Later in life, tragedy struck again. He and his wife, Mary Todd, had 4 sons, but only one survived to adulthood. These losses weighed heavily on Lincoln, but they also deepened his empathy and emotional strength. Historian Doris Kearns Goodwin described Lincoln as a man of profound empathy, capable of understanding and connecting with people on a deeply human level. This quality made him an inspiring leader, one who could unite and guide a nation during its darkest times. His struggles didn't break him. They molded him into the compassionate and determined leader history remembers. From failure to the presidency, Lincoln's journey to the presidency was anything but smooth. Growing up in a log cabin, his family struggled financially, and he faced failure after failure in his early political career. He lost multiple races for the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, but he never let these defeats define him. Instead, they fueled his determination. In 1860, his perseverance paid off. With less than 40% of the popular vote, Lincoln became the 16th President of the United States. His victory was not just a personal achievement, but a beacon of hope for millions. Lincoln's journey from a humble beginning to the highest office in the land is a testament to his indomitable spirit. The path was not easy, Lincoln's story reminds us, but unwavering determination and a refusal to give up can lead to extraordinary success. Leadership during America's darkest hours. Abraham Lincoln became president during one of the most challenging times in American history, the Civil War. It was a conflict that tore the nation apart, claiming more lives than any other war in U.S. history. Both Democrats and Republicans criticized him. Half the nation hated him. Yet Lincoln remained steadfast in his mission to preserve the Union and end slavery. People admired Lincoln's leadership deeply, and his ability to inspire and unite is still celebrated today. For over 2 decades, he has been ranked #1 in the C-SPAN Presidential Historian Survey. Historian Doris Kearns Goodwin highlighted his gift for listening, learning, and taking responsibility, qualities that defined his presidency. Lincoln stayed calm and adaptable under pressure. He understood his weaknesses and kept his emotions in check. His ability to communicate with empathy and clarity earned him the trust of his allies and even some of his critics. His unwavering belief in equality and human dignity shaped the nation's future. Even in the darkest moments, Lincoln remained committed to his goal of unity. He sought input from diverse perspectives and adapted his approach when necessary. His leadership during the Civil War demonstrated resilience, courage, and a commitment to lasting values. Lincoln's achievements, like the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 and the passage of the 13th Amendment, defined his presidency. These acts not only helped abolish slavery, but also laid the foundation for racial equality. His fight for human rights and democracy solidified his place as one of the greatest leaders in history. We are not makers of history, we are made by history. Lincoln's words remind us that great leaders are shaped by the challenges they face. The tragic end of a hero. Abraham Lincoln's life was cut short on April 14, 1865. Just days after the Civil War ended, Lincoln attended a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. While seated in the presidential box, he was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer. The nation was shocked and plunged into grief. Lincoln's death was more than the loss of a president, it was the loss of a unifying force. His leadership had guided the nation through its most turbulent period, and his vision for equality and unity left an indelible mark on American history. The funeral procession for Lincoln was a national event, drawing millions of mourners. His body was transported by train from Washington, D.C., to his final resting place in Springfield, Illinois. Along the way, Americans gathered in cities and towns to pay their respects. Lincoln's death was a painful reminder of the divisions that had torn the country apart, but his legacy of freedom and equality continued to inspire. His vision and values became a cornerstone of American democracy, a testament to what resilience and moral courage can achieve. A legacy that lives on. Abraham Lincoln's story is not just one of overcoming personal hardship, it's a story of enduring hope and the power of unwavering principles. His leadership during the Civil War saved the Union and redefined the meaning of freedom and democracy. Though his life ended in tragedy, his impact endures. Lincoln's legacy reminds us that even in the face of great adversity, one person's dedication to justice and equality can change the world. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, and stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. These words encapsulate the spirit of Abraham Lincoln, a leader who faced immense challenges, stayed true to his values, and left a legacy that continues to inspire generations.